Hi everyone, welcome back to another drum playthrough review. Thank you guys for tuning in and stopping by. Great to have y'all here. For everyone who's brand new, hi, my name is Nick. I'm a drummer and a multi-instrumentalist, and we do videos like these so that way we can learn from musicians who are much better than we are, analyze their technique, break it down into a nice and easy to digest form, and use that to make ourselves much better musicians than we were yesterday. And we have a returning Chad on the channel once again. So I'm sure you guys have heard his name, and I'm sure you know his name is popping up all over the place because he's very popular right now. More popular than he was before because of some speculation that's going on. He's been the drummer for multiple bands including Sepultura and now possibly Slipknot. We're taking a look at Eloy Casagrande once again today on the channel. Now, Eloy, on the last review that we did, unmatched power, absolutely insane crazy power, and you know, honestly, it's very hard for me to kind of wrap my mind around like just how hard he hits because the dude absolutely beats the crap out of his drums. I will say that for sure. But we're going to be taking a look at a drum playthrough that he did of another Slipknot song, People Equal. I don't need to say the word. I think you guys already know what I'm talking about. And we're going to take a look again and just see about his power and see what kind of stuff has changed, because this is a video from a couple years before the other video that we did where we were reviewing him playing the Heretic anthem. So I'd like to see honestly like what kind of stuff has really changed over the past couple years and like you know, how his technique is a little different than before. So let's dive right in. Let's take a look and see what he's got going on, and let's see how we can learn this technique and how we can break it down so that way we can become better, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff that we can learn from this dude. Before we start though, I check my YouTube analytics as any good creator should, and only about 0.7% of you guys are actually subscribed to the channel. What are you guys doing with your lives? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. We do a lot of fun stuff and a lot of videos just like this on here. We're gonna have a lot more fun content coming your way, so stick around. It's gonna be a fun journey. Well, without further ado, ladies and gents, let's jump in. Let's take a look. This is the drums only version, so that way we can really hear it. This is Eloy Casagrande playing Slipknot. So you can tell by how his legs are moving that he's using swivel on some of those faster parts. Yeah, the dude's absolutely putting the effort into his kit, man. That's insane. And I like his dynamic control with adding the ghost notes in as well. And look at that. Look how he's moving too. He's grooving out the whole time that he's doing it. Very good understanding of the drum kit as well that he's got going on here. And that groove that we're hearing, by the way, is it's a paradiddle fragment that's split up between the bass drum and the snare. And this is all recorded using a Yamaha EAD-10 that he plugs straight into his phone, which he's filming with. Yeah, the power is unmatched with this guy. And he's not even using a metronome, he's just playing right along to the song. Which means he's just that comfortable with the song that he knows it by heart. It looks like it's a little tense on that left hand there when he's doing the blast beats, but Even then, it's not like for a super long time. And the rest of his technique looks pretty loose, like that right there. Overall, I say it's pretty darn good, you know? A lot of wrist technique, a lot of full leg motion, some swivel when it comes to his faster bass drum parts. But rimshot blast beats, dude, you can't beat it. You cannot beat it. I mean, just look at him, dude. He's put in all the power that he possibly can. And like I said, he's not even playing with a metronome. He's just playing right along to the song and whatever's in his ears. So that's pretty darn good. That means he's just memorized it like that. Man, I wish I could play like that. Well, let's get right into the review and let's talk about it, because like I will say, this dude always has a lot that he can teach us and a lot that we can break down. So let's jump right in, guys. All right, well, first things first, Eloy, phenomenal drummer. Have to say that right there. Absolutely fantastic. Now, first things first to start off, let's just start with like the intro part right there. When he's playing it, he's using a lot of full arm motion when he's doing it, mainly because why? What is Eloy known for? Power. So he's going to be using really any sort of technique that's going to exemplify that power. So this is going to be a lot of full arm, a lot of wrist motion, a lot of really big stick heights as well that you're going to see compared to, you know, other drummers that are going to be within that same class. Very nice and big stick heights because he's putting in a lot of force and a lot of power into it. There's an equation in physics that you can use to tell how much force is able to be generated. And that equation goes as such. Force equals mass times acceleration. Now, obviously, you need some sort of mass to be able to create force, and you need some form of acceleration to be able to create force as well. The two of them go hand in hand, and reason being for this. If I take, for example, like a drumstick or something like that, this is my mass. This is my mass that I'm using to generate force. Now, obviously, I can generate force like this, but that's not going to be a lot of force because there's not a lot of acceleration going on here. If I do something like that, I'm going to generate even more force than what I would if I was doing something like this, because there's more acceleration happening because there's more distance between the object that I'm hitting and the start of my acceleration. Therefore, there's more momentum gained and therefore more force can be given. When it comes to Eloy, when he's doing his blast beats and all that, he's using a lot of wrist and he's using a lot of really big stick heights, and that's why they sound so loud and so powerful, because that's where he's deriving his power from. If force equals mass times acceleration, and you have the mass right here of your drumstick, and you're bringing your acceleration up with a greater distance, then you won't need as much mass to generate even more force. Because that stick height is just so darn high, he's producing some really, really loud sounds. Now, like I said, he's using a lot of wrist technique and a lot of full arm motion. When it comes to some of the blast beats, it looks like that he's just basically doing this when he's doing it, because he's starting to get a little bit tired with his wrist, so he's starting to have to use the full arm to kind of help compensate a little bit. That can cause some problems, I will say, just being fully honest with you guys. That can cause some problems, because when you have to start switching to something like full arm because you're getting tired, that can cause a lot of tension going on in your bicep, in your forearm, in part of your tricep as well, your shoulders, the latissimus dorsi right on the side as well. It can cause some tension issues going on there, because if you're not used to really playing with that much force and power, and then you're trying to like really replicate that while keeping the same tempo going on, and you start tensing up other muscle groups to be able to achieve that, that can cause some issues. It can cause some injury. It can cause some strain. It's not always 100% ideal. When is that acceptable? Like when Eloy's doing it, you can usually get away with it when you're not doing it for a long time. So like, for example, when he's playing it, right, he's just playing a blast beat like that, right? If it's just a really short, like 1, 2, 3, 4 blast beat, then that's pretty much it. I mean, like, you don't really need to worry about, okay, well, you know, I'm being super tense right here, because it's the amount of time that you're being tense for isn't really something to be too concerned about. It's not going to cause any amount of injury at that point. However, if you're doing it for, say, for example, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and you're doing it for longer than that, then that might be a little bit of a point of contention, because the longer that you have to be tense for and the longer that you're tensing up and causing strain, then the more likely you are to get injured. If you're doing it just momentarily, like I've said on other videos before, momentarily a little bit of bad form isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's very similar, like I've said before in other reviews, to, say, for example, working out. If I'm doing like a bicep curl, right, and I've got my elbow pretty much plastered my hip, and I'm keeping really good form while I'm doing it, right? Yeah, this is good. This is good. I'm still working out my bicep. My only issue is that I'm not going to be able to really push myself. I'm not going to be able to use a lot of heavier weight because I'm isolating my bicep. My bicep is a smaller muscle group. So therefore, I'm not going to be able to really try and push it and, you know, go super hard and go super far because I have to use a lighter weight because I'm isolating my weaker muscle group being my bicep. However, if I wanted to, say, for example, load on more weight, which I don't have available, but we're just going to do it for the demonstration anyway. If I bring it up just a little bit and move my elbow up, right, while I'm doing it, sure, it may not necessarily be the cleanest form, and I'm activating a little bit more of my shoulder while I'm doing it, and my bicep, because I may not be doing just necessarily a strict bicep curl, but what I am doing is I'm allowing myself to be able to use more weight to put my bicep through a little bit more strain, and therefore we can actually use that to kind of get away with a little bit more weight and push ourselves just a little bit further than normal. Just something to think about, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's just a couple examples on how sometimes bad form isn't necessarily a bad thing as far as it goes with the drums. Now, when in small amounts, it's fine and you can actually handle it and it can't cause injury. It's actually not that bad for you. However, when you're using bad form continually, that's when you can start to see some problems. Much like with the bicep curl example, if I'm just swinging up the weight like this, right? I'm using super heavy weights, I'm just swinging it up, I got no regard at all for form or whatnot. I'm just trying to show off and look good and look cool. That can lead to problems because it can lead to injury in several different places. I can injure my back. I could tear my bicep muscle, tear out my shoulder or my rotator cuff. At the end of the day, not very beneficial. Not really maximized as far as your efficiency goes and as far as functionality. But with all that being said, y'all, that's the end of this one. So thanks for tuning in and stopping by. Great job, Eloy. If you guys like this, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you thought down below in the comments. I'd like to start a conversation with you. And with all that being said, y'all, that's the end of this one. So thank you, take care, God bless, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So cheers and have a great rest of your day.